Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Pay attention to trends. I'm going to tell you what, especially for people interested in business and businesses that you can get into, or especially a business that takes advantage of your talents. Pay attention to trends. Now, I'm going to admit, that's something I haven't done as hard as I used to. As hard. But it's something you still keep some, like every now and then, just look up, do a search on trends or pay attention to what's happening. What are people getting into? Keep your ears to the streets. Keep your ears to the streets. Like at least have a cursory view or cursory understanding of what's happening out there. Because understand about business, it comes down to supply and demand. Like a big trend now and something to get into is veganism. If for business, like vegan products and everything, that's a very big thing because you have a growing population, particularly in the African American community, of people who are vegan. In fact, percentage-wise, the largest group of vegans, percentage-wise, are in the African American community. And what I'm seeing is a lot of, wait a minute. Sorry about that. What I'm seeing is a whole lot of black-owned vegan restaurants popping up. That's a food thing. And usually when they pop up, now I've been familiar with some people who've owned some and went out of business. But usually, like one went out of business, I think that had more to do with COVID. The other one, the owner, and she actually had two locations at one time. The owner actually just moved out of the country. So she's back in the country now and started another business. But when people have started that, and as long as they stayed up with everything, they will usually develop a good crowd. But that's a trend. You got a growing amount of people who want to eat healthy. There's a lot of people who are getting into yoga, exercising, wearing certain clothes. Like a trend I'm starting to see a lot of stores that sell nothing but leggings. Like specialize in selling leggings. Now, when I saw it at one mall, I was like, when I saw it in 2 or 3 malls, I was like, oh, okay. Somebody's jumping into it. Like, when we had the lockdown, that was a big trend to sell masks. All right, now with the restrictions being lifted, people ain't paying as much attention to it or selling, but then, it might be something else. And, during the COVID, there were a lot of people who did stuff. Like, look at the trend of people doing online meetings. There were some companies like Zoom, their valuation went way up. And that was very important. Pay attention. What's happening? What are people paying attention to? What are they getting into? What do the children like? What are the kids getting into? Like a lot of times if you can pay attention to the trends, what's coming. It's several factors. One, you might know which businesses you can get into, especially if a trend that's coming can take advantage of a talent that you have. You might have a talent that fits right into that trend perfectly. Or, there's a lot of people, even though I strongly advise people to do stuff that they have a passion for, some people have that talent. You can put them in any business, they still going to do well. So if you're one of those people, and it's not necessarily something that, you will be, totally excited about, though you should be, but you can get in there and still do a good job just because of your overall character, pay attention to that. Like a big trend of the marijuana industry, cannabis industry, there's a lot of stuff with that. You got states, they making money, they changing stuff. You might be able to get something in there that's taking advantage of that. Like with hemp, you can make anything. And, I had some magazines about that industry. I mean, they making clothes from it, desserts, everything. And if you're in the right place, you could probably jump into that. Your business might be making cupcakes. And you can make some cupcakes out of like some cannabis product or, ingredients or something like that. But that's a trend. You want to pay attention to it. And just in general, you want to pay attention. Like I said, I don't keep up with stuff as much as I did at one time, but I still keep up with it. Like I used to just sit around, just look at stuff, look at stuff, look at stuff. Not as much, but I still pay attention to every little thing. Like I'll pay attention to it. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's hard to do it on social media. I try to like do it objectively because one problem is like with the AIs or artificial intelligence, they will gear advertising just for you. So it can seem like something's big and it's not. So I try to surf anonymously as best as possible. As best as possible so I can see something that's not geared to me, but I can get an idea about it. And plus, even then, they have websites that track trends. They actually have websites. They'll see what's coming. They looking at it. They know in advance. Now, like say you check out those websites, and some of the websites, they will provide, booklets or something like that, reports and everything, downloadable reports about what's going on, what's happening. Sit there and check it out. Sit there and just gone through it because, like I said, I got a few things. I haven't kept up as much just recently because just been so busy with my businesses because I'll just put it like this. I'll share this with y'all. One of the things after keeping up with trends so many years, I figured out how to start something. So y'all just pay attention. But I see a lot of stuff. Lord, like, I'm going to tell you a little trick with paying attention to trends. Pay attention to subcultures because every subculture actually needs different things that adhere to it. They have different things. Like I pay attention to the natural hair culture. You can call it culture, natural hair, whatever, but then there's a lot of stuff that's connected with that. And like a big thing now, like natural products and stuff, like a big thing now is shea butter. I got about 6 types of shea butter that's mixed with some fragrance or something like that. And it smells good. Got a compliment on one that I was wearing from someone who usually doesn't compliment anything I'm wearing. So I was like, when she said, "Oh, that smells good. What is that?" I was like, "Oh, wow." But that's a trend now. That's a trend. And like if you make shea butter or something like that, that's a big thing. Major companies are getting in on it, but you got a lot of smaller companies. They'll sit there and just mix up some stuff and now it's selling like crazy. So it's very important. It's very, very important. So you definitely want to work on that. You want to pay attention to it. So anyway, that's all I have for now. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings. Oops, sorry. Let's go make that money. I forgot which station I was on.